Hello, I'm Jethro Wookey. I'm the Senior Correspondent covering aluminium for Metal Bulletin, and I'm here with Martin Haller. He is an Associate Consultant working with Metal Bulletin Research, and we're talking about the Indonesian mineral export ban and its implications for the bauxite industry. Martin, obviously one of the major recipients of Indonesian bauxite over the past several years has been China. And the loss of that material could create rather a large supply gap for the Chinese. What sort of measures have they taken to mitigate the implications of this ban?
Well, what we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years is China steadily increasing the range of sources that it uses to import its bauxite from. So we've seen China not only importing bauxite from Indonesia, but from Australia, from India, from Guyana, Ghana, Guinea, Brazil, Jamaica, Fiji, and more latterly the Dominican Republic. So the Chinese have taken the ban seriously and have already sought to put in a new network of supply for the forthcoming years.
It's understood that China has built up a large buffer stock of bauxite. How big is that stock and how long do you think it will last?
Well, we've looked at all the refineries in China that utilise imported bauxite, and there are about 7 of them, and we estimate that Chinese refineries require about 40 million tonnes of bauxite per year. Now, last year China imported 72 million tonnes of bauxite, so last year alone we estimate they built up a stock of about 32 million tonnes. In addition, over the previous years they were also building up stocks. In total, we estimate that they have over 40 million tonnes of stock now lying in their country, which is about 1 year's worth, were they to totally stop importing from everywhere, because they won't stop importing from everywhere. If the imports from other countries continue at the same rate as they did last year, there's about 2 to 2.5 years worth of stock in the country at the moment.
So what kind of problems does China face replacing such a large part of its bauxite supply from so many different sources?
Less than in the past. There was certainly a time, say, refineries built 30 years ago or more, that were predicated on 1 or 2 types of bauxite alone. But what we've seen with newer refineries is that they're far more flexible, and the very range of imported material that China is using tells you that Chinese refineries are able to use a wide range of bauxites. And of course, no one supplier has to be as big as Indonesia. We've seen China looking to relatively small volumes, 2 to 3 million tonnes per country, in an attempt to bridge this gap.
So, given all that, does this have any implication for bauxite prices and indeed for prices further downstream in alumina and aluminium over the medium term?
I think the best way of looking at this is to look at the relative ratio of bauxite prices to alumina prices. And here I think we can look at some increase in bauxite prices relative to alumina prices over the longer term. The extent to which Chinese refineries are able to act collectively, in other words, if China were to assume the role of a monopolistic buyer, this would give it huge leverage in the bauxite market and may well be sufficient to outweigh the fact that their demand is increasing.
Martin, thank you very much.
You're welcome.